From the Figure 4 Online Studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com, you're listening to The Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
Snappy little tune right there. It's the Bryan and Vinny Show. It is Sunday night, February 21, 2016. Figure4online.com/WrestlingObserver.com. Fast Lane is in the books. And there's also a UFC tonight, which is unfortunate because that means that we are only here to review Fast Lane. No NWA World Championship Wrestling and no Ring of Honor. Which actually makes me sad because Ring of Honor... This is, I think, the first show with the new production, which I wanted to see.
Oh, really?
And I was told that we should watch the NWA show because they do a hell of a job building up their little tournament that they're doing. Whatever it is they're doing. I didn't pay that much attention. We'll try and figure out some way to...
It just occurred to me, too. Next week's Sunday show will be the first show I missed due to vacation.
Oh, man.
I figure I'm going to watch some of these. These are the shows I actually want to watch that I don't get to.
Well, you're going to have to watch them on your own.
Damn it.
You're going to have to review it from Hawaii. I can't wait to call you on your cell phone from the beach.
See how this goes.
Dude, you should be happy to review it via cell phone because Hawaii is 2 hours time difference.
Yeah.
So normally when I would call you at 10, it'll only be like 8.
That's true.
I'll just be hanging out doing jack shit sitting on the beach. Is that why you're going to the gym to get in shape for Hawaii?
Actually, has nothing to do with it.
Oh.
Do you think
yeah.
that in the 6 weeks between Christmas and this vacation, I guess it's more like 8, but regardless, even I knew that would not be enough time to get into beach shape.
I thought that maybe you would be doing that.
Well, the answer is no.
Let me tell you a story. Everyone's going to think this story has nothing to do with anything, but there is a tie-in. As I've mentioned many times, I hate passionately the term dad bod.
Yes.
So I was determined to not have one. And so last week, I started a new diet. The steak and eggs diet. It's a very famous diet. Basically, you eat steak and eggs in the morning, and you eat steak and eggs in the evening. That's it.
I've heard worse.
Nothing else. Oh yeah, it sounds great till about day 3, when the idea of eating a steak and eating eggs is absolutely appalling to you, even if you have the best, finest cut of steak that there is. But it does melt off the fat. So I had a day of steak and eggs. Then I had another day of steak and eggs.
Mm-hmm. These are the only 2 meals you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have steak and eggs.
That makes sense.
And you have steak and eggs. It's 0 carbs. It is a 0 carb diet.
It is.
Not one single solitary gram of carbohydrates. Third day I had steak and eggs, and I went in and tried to grapple that diet. Oh, let me tell you, that sucked. Saturday came, and I could take no more. I was going to have my carb up day. So yesterday I went in, and I went to Cheesecake Factory, and I had chicken fettuccine Alfredo.
This is a good start.
And a chocolate cake. And then in the evening, I had P.F. Chang's Mongolian beef with rice. Woke up this morning, and I felt so horrible. It was a combination of dehydration, I think. I took in a lot of carbs in a short period of time and did not drink enough water, I presume. And I went from eating a whole bunch of protein to not barely any protein at all. My body did not like this. About 2 o'clock today, I thought I was going to die. I'm too old for this shit. So anyway, I ate a bunch of protein for lunch, and as of right now, I feel great. I'm quitting the steak and eggs diet, however.
All right.
I peeled off 2 pounds in 3 days, though.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. Anyway, the point of all of this is, I feel great right now, and if I didn't, the evisceration I would have given this pay-per-view. I would have given this pay-per-view one of the worst reviews of all time. I had so many things I was going to be so mad about. But I'm a softer man now with my baby on the way. I feel good. And so, if everyone is expecting me to destroy this pay-per-view, you're going to be disappointed. Now, if you think that I'm not going to eviscerate JoJo, as well as a segment near the end of the show where we got in succession Edge, Christian, the League of Nations, the New Day, followed by the Social Outcasts versus R-Truth, think again. That was the fucking worst half hour of my life.
That was one of the worst 15 to 20 minutes of pay-per-view time they've ever done.
It was so much worse than Kimbo versus Dada.
Oh,
5000.
God, yes. Jesus. And I know this, by the way, because I watched Kimbo versus Dada literally right before this pay-per-view.
Vinny watched it, everybody.
It was better than a lot of things in the show. Not the way they intended.
What did you think of Kimbo versus Dada 5000?
Never laughed so hard during a fight. I think my favorite point, even better than the stand-up from the full mount. I believe it was early in the second round. Kimbo tries like a double leg, and he pushes Dada up against the cage, and nothing happens, and they teeter, and they totter, and then both guys go over.
Yeah.
That was great. There were many points where I shouted to myself, they're just lying there. Kimbo being absolutely, completely blown up 3 minutes in, and still winning. Oh, it was glorious.
Man.
That was, I heard Joe Rogan call it the worst fight of all time. He must be confused.
It was the worst fight of all time,
Well,
but also the best.
It really was. It seriously was. The other best part, I don't think anyone's mentioned this, and maybe I'm wrong about it, but there's a point where they're leaning against the cage, throwing the best punches they could, which is worse than anyone listening could throw right now. But they're moving their arms towards each other's head. And in the front row looking up at them, I swear to God, I could have sworn it was Kurt Angle.
Yeah, he was there.
And all I could think was, what was going through Kurt's mind?
What was going through his mind was, I should fight.
Yes! Think about Kurt and the training he did for the Olympics and now watching these two men. What could he even process what he saw? Is he still confused and bewildered? And then the next thought, book me against either of them, please, immediately, for
Vinny,
any amount of money.
Did you ever think that you would live long enough to be in better shape than two
Professional
MMA
athletes?
main eventers?
The very first thing they did when they were on the ground, and Kimbo, I can't even say he was in control, but he was on top, and Dada attempted to escape by doing a sit-up basically through Kimbo's body.
Yeah.
Now listen, as you know, Brian, I'm fat. I'm not a fighter. I've never been a fighter. I have wrestled a little bit in my life. Just knowing how much energy he was expending trying to sit up through Kimbo. I could see it in his face. I could see it in his body. I'm thinking, that dude's killing himself right now. And I was right.
You were right.
I'm so happy he's not actually dead.
He almost did die.
I know. It would not be nearly as funny if he'd actually
No,
passed on.
it would have been tragic.
Yes.
If the man died, it would have been tragic.
Yes, but he's fine.
But he's fine. He was laughing in the hospital. Therefore, let's all start laughing. What could he possibly have been laughing about other than watching the replay? Because that was fucking funny.
That was very funny.
My God, that fight.
It was spectacular.
Here's the problem, Vinny. Problem is, Dada started at your weight. And he cut drastically to make 265.
Yeah, I've heard that's bad.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's not my plan.
So I can't say that you would beat Dada 5000. If you were 265 right now,
Yeah.
you could beat Dada 5000. But because you're 300,
Yeah.
there's no way. Because you'd have to cut to 265 and you'd fucking die.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, man, can you imagine that fight?
No.
Kimbo trained.
Yes.
You against Dada? Oh, my God.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Man, what a fight.
The points... There were parts where they were separated. It wasn't even necessarily a stand-up. They were just on the ground and then separated, and then both struggled to get to their feet.
Yeah.
Like 90-year-olds.
They had to be dragged off
Yeah.
the stools.
I thought... Not even the stools, just in the middle of the mat.
No, before the third round. They both had to be lifted off the stools by human cranes.
And pushed into action.
Yeah. How do you let that fight go on?
I thought we were going to get a ref stoppage due to failure to stand up.
Yeah, it should have been.
Big John was waving at Dada, saying, "Come on, you got to get to your feet. Come on, let's go."
If you cannot get from a seated position to a standing position at the beginning of a round, like, you should not be able to keep fighting.
No,
They should not be able to lift you up and throw your ass in the cage.
you really
That's
shouldn't.
wrong.
You really shouldn't.
The end of the fight literally was Kimbo moved. That's his finisher. Move. Man leans on you in exhaustion. You move, he falls down. That's his finish.
Falls down in a spectacular, twisting, winding. He took a path. It was a flare flop. The finish to this fight was a flare flop. A great one.
It was. Man, we'll never see anything like this again, I don't think.
I can almost guarantee you that no athletic commission will ever let you see anything like that again.
I still laugh at Scott Coker's quote when he said, "This was not what I expected," or whatever. It's like, really? I know that everyone thought that it was going to end in the first round. But think about this. If both guys get so tired halfway through the first round, then it is inevitably going all 3 rounds. Because they're too tired to punch each other hard enough to finish the fight. That's exactly what happened. And Kimbo won because he moved. It was what was it? It was the stoppable force versus the movable object. And one guy moved out of the way.
If you've ever played, that's not a great example. You know how we talk about sometimes in a fast-paced pro wrestling match, we're talking about life bars in video games. How as long as you have 1% life bar left, you can still do everything and move as fast as possible. This is the opposite of that.
Their life bar was at 0.
Yes. Kimbo's was at 1. Dada's was at 0. And so he lost. He just collapsed and lost. The other great part of it, and what made the whole thing so great was, that was, seriously, the best pre-fight video of all time.
The video was awesome.
Of them beating dudes in backyards and talking shit to each other. And just getting angrier and angrier.
Dude, you should have seen the uncensored press conference. That's the best thing. That's almost as good as the fight. You got to watch Ken, the world's most dangerous man, hiding. He literally crumbles up and he puts his hands over his head like, "Oh my God, get me the fuck out of here, these 2 crazy fuckers." And Hoist Gracie, I joked before he was made of wax. I'm sure of it. Because when you watch the press conference, he doesn't even move. He just sits there and doesn't even move while they're going crazy, as Ken cowers in fear. Oh, that was so much better than Fastlane.
Yeah. All I could think as we were getting ready to do the show was, if you could do, like Dave does the thumbs up, thumbs down poll in The Observer. If you could do that like minute by minute for this show, for the first half, it'd probably be in the 60% thumbs up range. It was good, but it wasn't anything great. And then it was spike for Jericho and AJ, and then plummet deep below 0 for a long time, and then bounce back up for the main event. It would be very dramatic, is my point.
Yeah. But you know what? They designed it like that, so I have no sympathy. If this show gets thumbs downs, that's their fault. We'll talk about it. Begin.
All right. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks versus Naomi and Tamina. So I haven't seen Naomi in a while because I don't watch SmackDown and she's not on the Hulu version ever. Apparently she was doing this for a while, but she'll do a spot where she's facing her opponent and she throws a kick to the body, and then as that foot is coming down, she jumps and throws a kick to the other side of the body, and it's kick, 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 like she's running in place. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Somebody please tell her to not ever do that ever again. Beat up Becky for a while. Sasha got the hot tag. It improved greatly when Sasha got the hot tag. Really, it was fine as long as Tamina was not in the ring. So, she hooks the bank statement on Naomi. Tamina yanks her out of the ring. Tiny little Sasha then chases Tamina around the ring and into the ring, right into Naomi's ass for a near fall. Sasha tried a La Mystica on Tamina, but she's Tamina. It did not go well. And the babyfaces won with a double submission finish. They both took their finishers and won. So, some clumsy spots, but overall a well-paced opening tag.
So probably Becky and Sasha and Charlotte in a 3-way for the title at WrestleMania. You wouldn't know a goddamn thing about Mania from watching the show, except for the main event.
Yeah.
But I believe that's where they are going with the women.
And that'll probably get 6 minutes.
Match was fine.
Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC title.
Oh, by the way, they showed Machine Gun Kelly in the crowd before the Kevin Owens match, which led to nothing. Machine Gun didn't want his revenge from Kevin Owens powerbombing him earlier this year.
He's over it.
Guess so.
No one cares. It's in the past. To tell you the truth, I forgot about that until you mentioned it right now.
How did you forget about Machine Gun Kelly getting powerbombed by Kevin Owens? That was the only good thing that Machine Gun Kelly has ever done.
It's the only thing Machine Gun Kelly's ever
Well,
done.
how the hell did you forget it then?
Because he's Machine Gun Kelly. I forgot everything about him.
If I hear Machine Gun Kelly, that's the only thing I'll ever think of. Is he got powerbombed by Kevin Owens.
I would think of Jim Kelly, the football player, because they called him Machine Gun Kelly.
I'm baffled that you don't remember that.
Let's talk about Dolph's hair. Dolph's half cornrow, but still long in the back haircut. Listen, I watch Enzo Amore on NXT every week. I watched Dada 5000 right before the show. This was the worst haircut I've ever seen.
Oh, come
He
on.
was trying. He says, it's time for something new. What should I do? I know. I'll go with Bo Derek from 10.
This is not even close to the worst hairdo of all time. Now, with that said, I'm done with Dolph Ziggler's wrestling. He sucks.
He is the ultimate guy in the why are you not better than you are discussion.
He really is. That, I think, is what makes me so mad.
Yeah.
I don't get that mad about Braun Strowman.
He's not the worst wrestler in the world, but he is so much worse than he should be.
He does every wrong thing you can do.
Yes.
And then God, I get so fucking frustrated. He takes his awesome corner. As good or better than Bret Hart has ever taken a face foot first bump into the corner. And he fucking hits it with his clavicle. His clavicle! Now, I presume this is just a coincidence. In fact, it has to be. No way he was listening to Observer Live. But the ABC, if you didn't hear Observer Live today, the ABC conference, Unified Rules, are looking to make some changes in mixed martial arts.
Or are they now?
Yes, they're going to remove some fouls. They are going, they're discussing this. One would be removing the 12-6 elbows.
So this would be legal.
They'd be legal.
Okay.
They would allow heel kicks to the kidneys. So if you have someone in your guard, you can do the old Ois Gracie kicks to the kidneys.
All right.
And I cringe at the mere thought of this. They want to remove the restriction of grabbing the clavicle.
Oh. Ooh.
Vinny had the same reaction I
Why?
did when I read that.
Who's pushing for that?
Who is pushing for that?
Who thinks
Who
that's
is
a good
watching
idea?
MMA and thinking there's not enough clavicle grabbing in this sport?
I don't know.
That's the fucking most horrifying thing. I
God.
will never watch MMA again if you're allowed to grab the clavicle. I'm telling you that right now. So, with that said, Dolph goes clavicle first into the turnbuckle. Starts selling his clavicle. Oh my God, my damn clavicle hurts. So, this is enough to take someone out of action for a year, breaking your clavicle, having some bad clavicle injury. So he sells for a little while, and then it's time for him to make his comeback, and goddamn if he's not selling one fucking thing. He's running as fast as he can. He's jumping. He's swinging with both hands. He's clotheslining. He's running like he's in a fucking marathon, like nothing's ever happened to him. He literally does the entire rest of the match, and I believe with about 1 minute left, he grabbed his clavicle again. Like, I don't care about your fucking matches. Why would I? It's a comic book. It's a cartoon. It's a fucking video game. I don't like comic books, cartoons, or video games. So I don't want to watch your matches. Sell! Or get into another fucking business.
So on top of all that, there was a point in this match where they just took turns super kicking each other.
Super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick.
JBL even called it a super kick party. So then for the finish, Dolph starts to tune up the band.
After doing 25 super kicks, now I'm going to set up for
a super
kick.
And the ref got pulled in the way, sorta, and Kevin hit the pop-up powerbomb and won.
Thank God.
And it was, to be honest, I realized we tore it apart here. But it was not a terrible match.
It wasn't a terrible match.
It was probably a better than average.
I got really mad at a couple of things, and it colored my view of the whole match.
Yeah.
The match was good. Kevin Owens was great. But Dolph Ziggler is the worst Shawn Michaels ripoff of all time. He's got the Shawn Michaels haircut from WrestleMania with Steve Austin. He's out there doing a bunch of super kicks, but he doesn't understand one fucking thing about why Shawn Michaels was great. Shawn Michaels was about everything except the moves. He had some really cool moves, but he understood how to put a match together. He understood how to get the most out of everything. He sold.
Dolph Ziggler has been part of the main roster now for 10 years.
And he hasn't improved one bit.
No. Now, to be fair, some of those times that counts times after he went back and forth to Ohio Valley. But point is, he's
Go
been
back
doing
to
this-
Ohio Valley.
Yeah, he still needs
Go
to
have
go
a
back.
match in front of Rip Rogers if you think that I'm being a dick. Go have a match in front of Rip Rogers, have this same fucking match, and let me know what he says when you get out of the ring. He fucking will hit you right in the clavicle. He literally would punch him right in the clavicle when he got out of the ring after this match.
You got a wacky promo backstage by Big Show, Ryback, and Kane about fighting in the jungle and sending the Wyatts to hell. And then we got Gods versus Titans, as promised.
Hey, it wasn't bad.
It was
fine.
There were some clumsy parts, but as far if you could do a lot worse for 6 big oafs bonking into each other repeatedly.
Sure.
Yeah,
Dude, after Kimbo versus Dada 5000,
all 6 of these dudes are better athletes.
I can't even think of a bad match. Now that I think about it, I take back everything bad I just said about Dolph Ziggler. I just got to think for a second. Whenever I get mad, I just got to think about Kimbo and Dada.
I was talking about that fight, and there were guys at this party that there were guys at your house who had not seen the fight, and they were trying to say, "Oh, so it was the Jenna versus Charmel of MMA." No, you don't understand. I first said I have never seen anything in pro wrestling like the fight I just witnessed.
You were wrong.
I thought of one,
Yes.
and maybe you heard Avalanche and Big Wood in a high school around here in front of 100 people
In their first match,
in
I
their
think.
first match ever. The part where they got 2 blown up to run the ropes and were walking the ropes.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I can compare this fight to. And in fact, now that I think about it, they were at least on their feet.
Yeah.
They had that over Kimbo and Dada.
Yes, they were able to stand.
They were.
They were too tired to run. They walked corner to corner.
Yeah.
They did an Irish walk, but they were on their feet.
Yes. So you had things here like Kane getting knocked off the apron when Rowan missed a kick. That's not a mistake on my part, by the way. That's what actually happened. You had JBL comparing Strowman to a cross between Jeep Swenson and Bill Kazmaier, as if that's a good thing.
I know, what a compliment that was.
You had Strowman missing a kick in the corner and trying to take the over-the-ropes bump to the floor. Looked as bad as you would think. You had Ryback doing his running knee in the corner and nearly throwing himself over the top rope.
And everyone booing him for stealing CM Punk's move.
Everyone booing him. There was the coolest spot was Big Show press slamming Luke Harper out of the ring onto a pile of men. That was impressive. And then there was some kind of distraction that was not shown on camera, and Ryback hit the shell shock on Harper for the win. So the Titans beat the Gods. And eventually they showed the replay was Kane kicking Bray Wyatt in the chest. That was that.
I liked it. I don't know if I'd say I'd like it. It was fine. I was not annoyed for one moment during this match. Everyone did great. For their level. Everyone worked to their own level. They did not Ziggler it and work well below their level.
Had a very long commercial for the website. Please welcome my guest at this time, Roman Reigns.
Okay. I'm sure she's a sweet girl. I am this close to boycotting JoJo. I will fast forward through all of her segments. I will shut off the television. She is so beyond horrible. To the point where there's no way that Vince McMahon watches his own show. It's impossible. There's no way that Vincent Kennedy McMahon and or Kevin Dunn actually watched this show. Because if they did, there's no way she would be employed. She has one job. Ask a question. A scripted question. Unable to do that. She's unable to ask a question. She was unable to wrestle. That's why she's a backstage interviewer. She is unable to interview. There is no other job for her. Yet somehow she must be employed. I don't know why. I don't want to hear the excuse, but she's pretty. 5 fucking billion people on this earth, or 8 billion or whatever, and this is the only pretty girl in the fucking world. No. They're everywhere. She wanted to know if Roman's relationship would ever be the same with Dean after tonight. How the fuck should he know? What kind of a stupid question is that?
Well, it is a stupid question, but I'll tell you how he should know. He and Dean have already wrestled for the title. He pinned Dean and won.
Well, that was never brought up.
No, they've all forgotten. Everyone in this company is dumber than the people watching the show, so they've forgotten. Yeah, Roman gave some horribly written line, and Dean arrived. Everyone booed Roman and cheered Dean. They made jokes about Priceline that I assume were paid plugs, and they said they would fight Brock, and they each said they would win, and they left.
And then, after they both say, it's not going to be Brock, it's going to be one of us, and they leave, JoJo looks baffled.
She probably was.
Why?
She has no.
What is baffling about that statement?
She has no idea what's happening.
It got worse later.
There's that. Oh yeah, it got much worse later. Brie Bella and her awesome theme song versus Charlotte.
God, now people are tweeting me that they also like the song.
Yes, I guess not the only one.
God.
So
it's not that bad, I guess.
I thought I was the only one. It does not strike me as a song that would be tremendously popular among wrestling fans. So anyway, Brie had Daniel Bryan's furry kick pads on from the Mania show.
She dedicated this match to her retired husband.
Yep.
In a very sweet move.
Yeah.
And then they had a terrible match, and she lost.
Fact. Here's my theory.
I can't really call it horrible, but was there anything they didn't botch?
My theory is that Charlotte must have seen Nikki backstage and planned a match with Nikki because the twins, right?
I see.
So she didn't realize she was playing a match with the wrong person, and then it's gone out to the ring, and meanwhile, Brie had no idea what was going on. That's my theory. Because they appeared to be on different pages throughout.
There was a spot where Brie was trying to do a crucifix hold on Charlotte. And Charlotte would not let her do it.
No.
Like it was a shoot. Brie is desperately trying to hook a crucifix, and Charlotte is fighting with everything she has got to avoid the crucifix. And in the end, Brie finally got it.
And then Charlotte kicked out.
And then Charlotte kicked out. I was like, there's no way this was planned, right? They could not have come up with that idea. Let's pretend that I'm not going to let you get a fucking crucifix.
So Charlotte does her rolling head scissors spot, and then Brie fights out, and they both pop up to their feet, and then Brie starts to run and then stops, and then Charlotte starts to run and then stops, then they both start to run and then stop. This was poor.
They both were forgetting everything in the middle of this match.
Yeah.
And then, let me speak of the finish, because I've already blown my stack on Dolph Ziggler once, and I want to be a fair man. Brie makes a big comeback, and she applies the yes lock. And Charlotte is getting ready to submit. And Rick tries to drag her to the ropes. Now, before this happened, Brie had done a drop kick and hurt her leg, supposedly. So, Brie tries the yes lock. It's not working. She switches to a half crab. And she's cranking and cranking and cranking. The place is going crazy. They're buying this as the finish. Brie is about to win the title. She has this hold on for like 30 seconds. Now, later we're told, not during the actual match, that Brie, when she was in the half crab, her leg gave out, and thus she lost all of her strength, and Charlotte fought her way free. And Charlotte then puts on a figure eight and wins. Okay, fine. That's the story of the match. Charlotte was in the yes lock and the half crab for at least a minute, if not 90 full seconds. The moment she powered out, she went right to the figure eight. She got the submission. She stood up. She bounced out of the ring, and she bounced up the ramp. She didn't sell her back. She didn't sell her leg. She didn't sell her shoulder. She didn't sell her fucking arm. She didn't sell anything. Why do we have wrestling matches?
I don't know.
Why not just go out there, introduce both people, and then say who won? Why the fuck do we even have matches? What's the point? Nobody sells a goddamn thing anymore. There's no drama. It's just a bunch of moves and then one person wins. Usually, I forgot to mention this. Let's go back to the Giants versus the Titans, or whatever the fuck it was called. Ryback hits Harper with a shell shock. Right before this happens, Michael Cole starts screaming about distraction. Both men were in the middle of the ring. There was nobody else in the ring. There was nobody else that we could see causing any sort of distraction. There was imaginary distraction leading to this finish that Michael Cole had to call. Because you can't just have one guy beat another guy.
No.
Got to be some sort of bullshit or whatever. What the fuck was the distraction? I didn't see a thing. The ring was empty.
Kane on the floor kicked Bray.
Kane on the floor kicked Bray.
This caused Luke
in
to
a
stop doing
six-man,
Yeah,
which caused Luke Harper to lose his concentration and get shell-shocked.
that's what happened.
What a stupid fucking finish.
Yeah.
That sure protected Luke Harper.
The other thing about this Charlotte Brie match was Charlotte got a barely perceptible cut on the bridge of her nose. I don't think anyone in the party noticed it except me.
I saw it.
The ref pulled out rubber gloves as if he was handling the most dangerous toxic waste. I guess they have to. It's the rule, but God, it seems silly.
JoJo again.
JoJo's back.
Okay, I can't really blame her for this because it's fake and someone fed her this question. But she goes up to Chris Jericho and her fucking question is, Chris, what do you make of AJ's claim that you losing to him on Raw is eating you up inside? And I thought, fuck you all. On Raw, Chris Jericho was the one who admitted it was eating him up inside. Yeah. And you fuckers can't remember a goddamn thing. And you can't even remember who said that. That was a question she got to ask.
It is a show that punishes you for paying attention and remembering things. Like nothing I've ever seen before.
I could not even believe this. And Jericho tried so hard to save it. First, he looked at her like she was a complete idiot. And then he tried to make it sound like wins and losses matter. I don't want to lose 2 in a row on the road to WrestleMania. So congratulations to Chris Jericho. One human being in this fucking company who gets it. And then they had a great match.
They had a great match. There was dueling chance from the get-go, and from start to finish, this had more heat than anything on the show, with the possible exception of the main event. And actually, I'm not even sure about that. So, a couple things on commentary. Cole notes this is a dream match. I'm not sure you can say something about a match we've now seen 3 times in like 3 weeks.
Well, AJ Jericho 3 is a dream match.
We had not seen them for the 3rd time yet.
This is the first time we'd seen them for the 3rd time.
That's not even the best part about this, though. They're talking about how JBL had wrestled with Jericho in Japan. You could tell right away that Jericho was going to be a big star. And he starts just throwing out completely random Japanese names that would mean nothing to the WWE audience. Kabashi, Kawada, Baba. And there's a pause, and he just says, even Stan.
Even Stan.
Not Stan Hansen, just Stan.
Stan.
The guy from the Eminem song.
I'm sure lots of fans were thinking Stan Kroenke wrestled in Japan. It's crazy.
Someone in the house said Stan Lane.
Stan Lane?
So they did have it. They had a very good match. For most of this, I thought this was a good match that was just missing something.
I have nothing bad to say about this match.
I didn't have. It's not anything bad to say. I just thought there was something missing. AJ tried his springboard elbow, but Jericho countered with the Silver King dropkick. That spot required perfect timing. That was awesome, and it looked great. Jericho called him a stupid son of a bitch, which got bleeped. They did a big series of counters and moves. AJ hit the Styles Clash, and Jericho kicked out. And AJ then put on the calf crusher. And remember when I said this match was missing something? Here it was.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho did the best struggle and sell and cry out in pain and eventual tap out ever. And that 10 to 12 seconds of pure, unadulterated awesome, that made this a great match.
Yeah.
And I have not been a big fan of Chris Jericho in this latest go-around. I have not been impressed. This totally redeemed him in my eyes. This was awesome. Way to go, Chris.
It was very, very good.
Yeah, and it turned a good match into a great match.
And you know what? I've said this before. Oh, by the way, I got breaking news. WWE announced Shinsuke Nakamura has signed.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
On February 21st. Anyway, so...
The picture with Hunter, Steph, and Shinsuke is pretty awesome.
I know a lot of people get mad when, like, big stars who are really great end up going to NXT before they go to the main roster. And I understand it does get frustrating to still see Finn Balor there. But I do think that it would have served AJ well to have spent a month or two in NXT, because the WWE ring is different than almost any ring he's ever been in. It only has 4 sides, number one. The ropes are different. It's bigger. It's just different. It doesn't matter how good you are or where you've worked. Whenever you go somewhere different, you need to adjust. And I think the biggest problem that these two guys have had is Jericho is totally used to this ring, and AJ is not. And if you watch all of their matches, there are little things in every match where they just didn't quite get it right. But they're so goddamn good that unlike in the Charlotte and Brie match, you barely even notice. In fact, I think only someone that has been in the ring would even notice half this stuff. Most people probably didn't notice at all. They did such a great job saving all of these little things that went wrong. They had a great match, and at the end, as soon as Jericho kicked out of the Styles Clash, I was like, isn't that amazing that New Japan, nobody kicks out of the Styles Clash for like 2 fucking years until the guy is leaving. And it's sold as the most dangerous move in all of Japan, and it's the most over move in another country. And he comes to WWE, and somebody kicks out in the first month. But then, you can't get mad because it's WWE. This is what people do. In a big match, you kick out of the other guy's finisher.
You can't get mad at the 50-50 booking. That's what they do.
It is what they do. That's why I get mad, but I don't get that mad. Now, him kicking out of the Styles Clash, if that's what they decided they needed to do in order to have Chris Jericho tap out clean in the middle to the guy's calf slicer, more fucking power to him. Because that was great. Him tapping out to the calf slicer was 1,000 times better than him just getting pinned with a Styles Clash. God, this match was great.
He waved his hand over the mat. He growled. He screamed. He grimaced. He prayed to the Lord above. He held his hand higher. He reached out for the ropes, and finally he tapped out. It was a thing of beauty.
You know what he did? He did it the way you do it when you're not going to tap. But then he did.
Yes.
That's why it was so great.
Yeah. So at this point, as noted, I thought this had been a thumbs in the middle show that had just been saved. Oh, what a fool I can be. Edge and Christian came out. They spoke very briefly. They name-dropped Lance Storm. They plugged their first ever tag team ladder match in the city, and then the New Day interrupted. New Day came out and got the least reaction of all time. They entered the ring, and I have no idea what they said. What I wrote here was, legit, I have no idea what they said. There were noises. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. There was more. Edge noted that they had in fact been met with complete indifference upon entering the arena. Talked about the New Day ripping off Edge and Christian's stick, replacing the sunglasses with the unicorn horns and the trombone with a kazoo. New Day said something else that I think was a jab at LeBron James. I'm not sure. They started running down all the other teams in the company, including the League of Nations, which Xavier said League of Legends is so good, but League of Nations is hot garbage. Edge agreed with that, and then he brought out the League of Nations. They were mad at the New Day. New Day said they would love to engage in fisticuffs, but it was the day of rest, so they left. League of Nations talked smack to Edge and Christian for a while. God, this went on for a long time.
This went on forever.
So here's the payoff.
Yeah, this is the key.
This is the payoff. Edge and Christian say, okay, we'll leave. Then they leave. Then they call the people in the ring the International House of Dumbasses. And at this point, I figured, okay, the payoff is something's going to fall from the ceiling and they'll make it look like goofs. No. New Day laugh at the League of Nations. They play their trombone. Edge and Christian make it rain. And there's New Day's song plays. And that's the payoff.
That was it.
That's...
You know, when Edge and Christian were being accosted verbally by the New Day, I thought, there have been a lot of rumors about Enzo and Cass. Maybe this will be their big debut. They are the NXT version of Edge and Christian. Cass looks exactly like Edge, and Enzo is a little creepy bastard, which was Christian's gimmick. They come out and they make the save for Edge and Christian, and then they're all happy together. And I bet the place would have gone batshit crazy. So then the League of Nations come out, and I'm like, well, that ain't going to happen now. And then when the New Day leaves and the League of Nations is threatening Edge and Christian, I thought, now Enzo and Cass are going to come out. and they're going to save this segment. And then they didn't. And then, to be honest, when the whole thing was over, I was like, thank God they didn't debut here.
Oh, yeah, that would have been awful.
Can you imagine debuting in this segment? And there was no payoff.
No.
And worse, I don't even know if this is worse because I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but I've had people tell me that Ride Along, for example, is actually a pretty good show. I've had people that really enjoyed Swerved, okay? Every time I watch one of these WWE commercials for one of their WWE Network shows, it always looks so horrible. Maybe Edge and Christian's show is unbelievably great, but the commercials that they have made for that show, I have no interest in ever watching that show. So here was their chance to come out and sell me on their show, and this was what the writers came up with. When Fastlane ended and their show began, I shut it off. I couldn't handle 1 second of these guys on my screen after this segment. This was the worst commercial of all time. That's what this was for, to plug their new show that airs after this ends. This is what they came up with. I could not even believe my eyes. And then, after a hot segment like this, we got to bring down the crowd.
Let me refer to my Twitter account here briefly. Bear with me as I look this up. I should have done this before, but it just occurred to me. I chronicled all this in real time. This is the beauty of Twitter. Things get captured moment to moment. So, at the end of that segment with Edge and Christian, I tweeted out, that may have been a new low point in the history of this company.
I wouldn't go that far.
Then I wrote, the 2 minutes after this tweet, by the way, have actually gotten worse. And people were agreeing with me. Out come these social outcasts.
Vinny, you don't even have to see him on TV every week.
That's kind of the point. It's not even that I hate these men or hate the gimmick or anything.
I hate the gimmick.
The point is, this is no disrespect to these men, but it's true. They are right now the bottom of the WWE roster.
Almost. Zack Ryder's lower.
All right. They're not. They're on the bottom tier.
They are mired in the.
They're not doing
slime.
They're not high on the totem pole.
The primordial soup of WWE.
They're not high on the totem pole. But this is what they have to fill a 3-hour pay-per-view. Because the biggest wrestling company in the world's got nothing else to offer but their dregs.
Well, Vinny, this is always a segment where they bring down the crowd. But the point is, they had to bring down the crowd from the Edge and Christian segment.
That was already down.
Meaning, when they wrote that segment, in their minds, on paper, they had that gimmick where they put all the asterisks in parentheses, meaning crowd will pop wildly here. Yeah. They probably had that all over the Edge and Christian thing. Yeah. Instead, I'm sure Kevin Dunn's just backstage going, why the fuck is nobody cheering? I don't get it. Why does everyone hate this segment? Why do they think it sucks? Well, you know what? It was on paper. We got to bring them down, bring out these fucking social outcasts. And they brought it down all right.
They did. They brought the show, which is already at its lowest point, to a new low. So they came out, they made a bunch of card jokes. I can only imagine what one of their writers was paid to put these together.
See, that's the other thing. They're a new team of jobbers, and they also hate each other.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a worse gimmick?
So then, to fight these men, we got Truth. Our Truth on pay-per-view. He came out, he did some comedy, and then on pay-per-motherfucking-view, Truth versus Curtis Axel. Now, perhaps you would think the mere existence of this match would be enough to set me off, and that I would not need to see anything else to be angry. Well, you may be right, but it got worse.
Yes.
Goldust comes out.
All right, before you talk about what happened, let me tell you
I'm not even still can process it.
Let me tell you what I thought would happen. Then you can explain what they actually did.
I'll do my best.
Okay. When Truth came out, and I was watching, as you note, on pay-per-fucking-view, our Truth versus Michael McGillicuddy. I thought, okay, maybe they're going to do a quick match. All of the bad guys will beat up Truth. Goldust will rush down. They will clean house on the social outcasts, and they will do a big hug, and everybody will actually cheer that these fucking horrible segments have paid off with these two men finally becoming a friend tag team. That's the only thing I could think of that could possibly be a reason to put this on television and have something resembling a payoff. Let's hear what they actually did.
Okay. So Axel is running the ropes when Goldust trips him. This was not the finish, nor did it lead to the finish. So Goldust goes over to where the other three social outcasts are. For reasons unbeknownst to me, he throws Adam Rose into the ring. Adam Rose then rolls into the ring like you do, and he just keeps on rolling. And then Truth jumps over him.
He didn't want to be tripped.
He jumped over the man.
Yeah. Vinny, a man is log rolling towards you. You have no choice but to leap.
This leads to Axel pinning Truth with a schoolboy because he jumped over Adam Rose.
Yeah.
That's the finish they went with.
That's what they came up with.
And they decided it was a good idea to use this on a pay-per-view.
This is so much worse than Kimbo versus Ken.
Oh my God! Yes!
Or Kimbo versus Dada.
If Kimbo and Dada did a rematch right now, it would be better than this.
Yeah.
This is so bad. This was so bad.
And then it ended
I was bringing up
with
references.
Goldust and Truth still not a team. Because they're going to build it up more. Vinny,
This was so bad.
it's
dude.
not time yet to pull the trigger on this team.
I don't care about the future or the past.
Slow build.
Brian, bear with me on the present. This was so bad. This 15 to 20 minutes of television was so bad.
You're right. I do not disagree.
I wish we had the other people at the show to witness my behavior at the finish here, so they would back up what I'm about to say. But what happened was, Goldust threw Rose into the ring, and I could actually, and this frightens me. This actually shames me. I could see where they were going. And I grabbed my head with both hands, and I screamed, "No, no, no!" And then it happened. And Truth jumped over the log roll like we're in third period gym class. And then Axel schoolboyed him like we're in fourth period gym class. And the match ended. Well, I guess we'll talk about the main event.
Hey, I liked it.
It was a really good wrestling match and very entertaining to watch. As a vehicle to promote Roman Reigns as the next big star, what a failure.
You know, I'm getting to the point now where I love it. I just love it.
That's fair.
I love how they just cannot figure this out. It is so amazing to me. Think about this. So, the idea is you want Roman Reigns over to main event WrestleMania. So your fucking plan is to get Brock Lesnar, who everybody loves because he's a badass, and Dean Ambrose, who everybody loves, and Roman Reigns, who everybody is booing. Put them in a match together, and the story of the match is that Brock is single-handedly destroying two men, suplexing them all over the land. And you figure that at the end, when Roman Reigns manages to steal a pin on his best friend, as his best friend is playing Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's going to get Roman Reigns over as a babyface.
Yeah.
Someone wrote this down on paper.
Yes.
Okay, forget in execution. On paper, they looked at that and thought, this will get this man over.
3 minutes into this match, Brock Lesnar was killing both men and suplexing them all over hell. 3 minutes in, Brock Lesnar picks up Roman Reigns and hits him with an F5. That's his finish. And he covers him, and the ref counts 1, and the ref counts 2, and Dean Ambrose breaks up the pin. Roman Reigns is a beaten man 3 minutes into this match. And we're supposed to think he's the next big star. What are they doing?
They don't know what they're doing. They just don't get it.
No.
I can't wait till they turn Dean Ambrose heel, and they can't figure out why he's being cheered and Roman Reigns is being booed. You want to know? You want me to give my booking advice to WWE? I don't know how the fuck you're going to get Roman Reigns over, but it ain't like this. But I'm going to tell you right now how to make sure that you get Dean Ambrose over as a heel and not get him cheered. Roman Reigns needs to encounter a hurdle, and Dean Ambrose needs to assist him on his way to the WrestleMania main event. That's the only fucking way you're going to get people to boo Dean Ambrose, is if he helps Roman become the champion. Because anything else, he's going to get cheered.
So there was the spot where they put Brock, they agreed, we are inferior, we must double team Brock Lesnar to defeat the best athlete in the match, and then one of us can be the best loser. That was their plan.
That's a hell of a plan in real life.
Well, sure. But again, as a vehicle to get either Roman or Dean over as a star, failure. They powerbomb Brock through the table. This involved zooming the camera in and then out and then in and then out. A minute goes by, they show a replay from the opposite angle, which also included the camera zooming in and then out and then in and then out. I don't know why people watch this.
Because of the drama.
Yeah, because you can't tell what's going on. It's literally a mystery what's happening as you see it. So Dean and Roman went one-on-one for a while, and when Dean hit Dirty Deeds, people leapt out of their chairs. They were ecstatic that Dean might win this match. And of course, Roman kicked out. So Dean goes for another one. I left out something. I glossed over this. This is actually important. They put Brock through one table. He rose to fight again. So they put him through another table. And then they began to bury him under the shards of these two tables. And they should put the chairs on top of him too. And it actually turned out to be anticlimactic. We were all expecting him to explode out of the rubble like Godzilla coming out of the sea. But as it was, he just appeared back in the ring. But Roman has Dean for a Samoan drop, and Brock is the ring, suplexes both of them. And that was awesome. So Roman spears Brock, but they are both exhausted, and so they lay on the mat unable to do anything, much like, in fact, Kimbo and Dada. Only Brock knows more holds than Kimbo and Dada, and he put him in the Kimura. And Roman's fighting and fighting. He actually powered up to his feet, carrying Brock Lesnar around while still in the Kimura.
That's not a good escape, by the way.
No, you're still in it. He'll still break your arm.
I do not recommend that escape next time you get caught in a Kimura.
If any of Brian's students are listening.
Don't stand up with the guy.
No, especially not Brock Lesnar. So Dean appears with a chair, begins to wail on Brock over and over and over again. Then he turns on Roman, wails on him over and over and over again. And he finally hits Brock with one giant chair shot, and Brock rolls out of the ring. And he turns around, and Roman hits a spear out of nowhere and pins him. That's how Roman won.
You know, I had people on Twitter that were talking today and saying, I really think Brock's going to he's going to drop the fall in this match. It's just like, where have you been? Where have you been? There's nothing on this show that was surprising at all. You know exactly what they're going to do. You can hope beyond hope that you're going to get something different, but you're not. You know exactly what you're going to get. And as long as you watch this show knowing exactly what you were going to get, you're probably pretty happy.
Yeah.
A good main event.
A good main event.
You knew Roman was going to win.
Great AJ Jericho match.
I mean, you may have thought differently, but you really knew that Roman was going to win because he was going to win. And you knew that Ambrose was in that match to take the fall because they're not going to beat Brock unless they absolutely have to. And they don't see Dean Ambrose as the guy. That's it. Now, at least I do think that Ambrose and Kevin Owens is going to be the match at WrestleMania. And I think that Ambrose will win that belt from Kevin Owens at Mania. So if you like Dean Ambrose, I think you're at least going to get a big championship win at WrestleMania. I could be wrong. We know that we're probably, I would bet you anything, that they are going to put Braun Strowman in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And I think it's going to come down to him and Big Show, who won last year. And he's going to throw Big Show out of the ring. Because there was a spot in the Demons versus Titans, or whatever the hell it was called, Gods versus Titans match,
yes,
where the Big Show clotheslined Braun Strowman over the top rope to the floor. So I think that was your build to that WrestleMania match. I think that because Kalisto won, he's probably going to be in a multi-person ladder match for that title at WrestleMania. And the Becky, Sasha versus Charlotte match, I think, is on the books. And I guess we'll see what happens with Undertaker. If John Cena comes back, it'll be him. If not, who knows? And I think that's most of the card.
And that was that.
What a mania.
Yeah.
You didn't hear a goddamn word I said, did you?
You ran down the mania card. There's Brock and somebody, Roman and Hunter, Cena and Undertaker, the women in a three-way.
I didn't say anything about Brock.
Oh. I think he'll be on the show somewhere.
You know, he may be.
Strowman and Big Show in the Battle Royal. What did I miss?
Owens and Ambrose.
New Day League of Nations.
I didn't mention that.
Well, it probably will be, I assume.
Ladder match.
Multi-man ladder match with Kalisto.
I'm going to start quizzing you.
That's fair.
What are you reading over there?
Twitter, nothing important.
At least you can read something important on there.
It's not important. There is no news. Rusev tweeted out a funny picture of the League of Nations doing funny poses.
Oh.
This is what it comes to come down to.
That's what wrestling has come down to.
Yeah.
Let's tweet out funny poses. That'll get everybody over.
I apologize, Brian.
All right, everybody, that's it. We're going to be back later on tonight with Dave, the Observer Radio edition of the show. And After Dark Radio is playing right now, if you'd rather listen to that than us.